things while you're benching is to keep your elbows tucked in. This is to help protect your shoulder. So one of the things that we work on our light days of benching is specifically just technique. So we try never to exceed 75% of our max. That way we still kind of feel moderately heavy weight, but we're able to adjust our form as needed. So one of the things we're going to work on with Jeron today is after he sets up, he's going to bring his elbows, tuck them in, so he can still activate his lats while he goes to press. But then once the bar starts to slow down on the press, he flares his elbows out. That's where you don't have to be concerned about shoulder damage. But you're going to be a lot stronger locking it out, you know, 3/4 of the way up with your elbows flared out. Gives you also an opportunity to bring the bar up over the face if you need to. And again, that's where you're just going to be more strong. So Jeron's already front loaded. Part of the front loading is a different type of warm up. We warm up that way of doing 3 sets of 10 or 12 on a variation of different lifts, incorporating your rear delts, your biceps, and your lats. And then we move into roughly 65% of your bench, 65% of your contest max. And this way, we talk about getting speed off of your chest and more speed on your press. But the problem is when you bench 135 or maybe 95 pounds as you're warming up, you don't typically press as hard as you would as if it was 405. You press only as hard as you need to. So this way we're constantly, every time we're benching, we're needing to press a little bit harder so we can always work on speed off our chest. You set up, you come all the way out?
No.
You're not gonna hit me in the nuts?
No, not unless you want me to. I could go full like open mouth and everything. Funny, we were just making fun of people with $200 shoes, and here I am.
I think you got the same tattoo as Gracie V on your back.
Can't tell if that's an insult.
So that's Jeron's first lift after he's front loaded. Now he's working with 225, which is just a touch under 65% of his max right now. And you can see one of the things he did is lift his head up. What he's trying to do is help create momentum. As he's bringing the bar down, he lifts his head up. So when he gets the press command or he decides to press, he comes up, slams his head back. And it's all about helping create distance between you and the bar. And that's just one way to help get momentum, is head up and then blast back. Think about how many sets you probably do regularly, and then how to, you're only going to do like 12 reps or so today.
Yeah.
Benching, that's it.
Well, it's funny how not horrible starting out right off at 225 felt.
Yeah.
Because that was the one thing I've been kind of apprehensive about, is just jumping right in instead of getting to like feel things out, see how it is. But it's like you're saying, I can sit and fling around 135, fling around 185, and then really the 225 felt the same as it always does.
Yeah, your form's going to go to shit at 135. You can't press as hard. I mean, if you press as hard, you can get hurt. That still looks just as fast.
Yeah, feels really good. How's that?
That was really good.
Am I touching in a good spot?
Yeah, everything looks good. I mean, I wouldn't critique anything. The bar speed was fast, so I wouldn't talk about starting to flare, because it's not. If it was starting to slow down, I'd say push the elbows out of touch, but you're staying nice and tucked in and tight. And
this will probably be a good thing to clarify, but how do you compare flaring versus trying to rock the bar back and trying to press more of an arc? Well, is that the same thing? Two different ways of doing the same thing?
Yeah, I guess it's kind of, Because with rocking the bar back, the idea is to get it eventually over your face, right? Towards your lockout, if it's over your face, it's a lot easier to lock it out here. With where I'm talking about, it's still kind of almost pressing in a straight line, but then once the bar comes to a stop and you push your elbows out, if you still can't get it, then you start bringing it over your face. Okay. Kind of just the idea of keeping the bar moving. The bar is stagnant in one spot, it just isn't going to go anywhere, but hopefully kind of moving it up over your face, it'll
keep that speed.
Give you that spot to put it press it down. That's good. I mean, you're hitting a good spot on your chest. We talked about a shitty lift off, and then I give you one. Everything looks good. I mean, your descent is nice and fluid. It's not that super slow, talking back spring type thing.
No, it feels good. That's right about the perfect speed for me, because I can get, I can sink in just a little bit.
Right.
And I feel like if I get, not a ton, but if I sink maybe a ½ inch, then when I throw my head back, I get some pop off of that too.
Yeah.
But if I'm going down super slow, I can't get any of that.
Yeah. And especially when you can translate that spring into pressing off your heels and pushing your head back and getting that momentum, that's good.
Yeah.
So typically, when people set up in the bench, they want to optimize their arch, and one of the ways to do that is by setting up and putting your feet back behind you and getting up on your toes. What I've found, and I don't know how I found this out because I don't use leg drive, but what I figured is pressing off of your toes with that little bit of surface, you're not optimizing your leg drive. So what Jeron did here is he set up, got nice and tight, his legs are right directly underneath his butt, he's able to press up off his heels. He's going to get the most amount of leg drive by pressing off of his heels. Now you can see he brought his head up, got the momentum. As the head's up, he's going to press, pushing off the heels, coming up, slamming the head back, and going out to a lockout. Here's an example of pressing off of the toes. You see he sets up nice and tight, gets a touch more of an arch, but he's losing almost all of his leg drive. Bar is way slower. Now, anybody who benches off of their toes, who goes to switch, you're not going to see results right away. Your first bench press, if you've been benching off your toes for the last 6 months or longer, you go to switch, you're not going to see results right away. This is going to take time. It's like anything else you switch in the strength game. It takes a ton of time to see the carryover for it. What I can promise is pressing off your heels, you can still set up the way that you usually set up. For instance, women like to really maximize their arch by tucking their legs behind them. Still set up that way. Once you get locked in, your back is behind you, just bring your feet out so you can press up off your heels. Even though Jeron's not super flexible like most women, where he's still able to show you how to set up this way, he's pushing his feet out in front of him now, and now he's going to be able to still use his heels to press off and get a little bit more leg drive on his press.
Alright guys, I hope that video was helpful for you and you enjoyed a couple of things that you can hopefully implement into your training. For more information like this, be sure to check out our seminar this weekend, March 7th at noon here at Savage Gym. Check out the details below. Below, right down here. We'll have a link to the event. Be sure to be there. Or don't, and be weak.
Yeah, don't hit a PR.
Yeah, fine.
See if we can.
Yeah, whatever. Just like your father.
Yeah. No PR, son of a bitch.